Hey guys, hey, I had a couple questions, one from Laura, one from Kimberly. I just wanted to answer them really quickly. So Laura asks, she's asking about, okay, first I want to address this. She said, you've said you work from 6 a.m. to 9 on your blog. And I want to clarify for you guys that I run multiple businesses. I do a lot of different things, right? I have 3 podcasts, 2 websites, a consulting business, Pinterest accounts, Instagram, all these different things that I do. You guys do not have to work those kind of hours. And I don't work 6 to 9 on Radical Transformation Project, the blog, right? But I have all these different Facebook groups, all these different social medias, all these different projects. I have clients, I do consulting, I do all these things. So just keep that in mind when I'm talking about working from 6 to 9. I'm not sitting there working on Radical Transformation Project. So the other thing she's saying, I'm a total beginner and I see you taking lots of courses. Do you produce actual content during that time, or are you learning how to use WordPress, other aspects of your business during the time? I'm trying to figure out how much time I should spend on developing what is normal because I love producing written content. The rest is hard. Okay, so this is the thing with your content, and this is going to change depending on what area you are at in your business, right? A lot of times I do like 1 blog post a day, or sometimes even 2 blog posts a day, right? When I'm focusing on traffic and that's what I think my business needs, I'm writing a lot of content. There's times, and especially in the beginning, where I wasn't producing that much content because I had to learn WordPress. I had to learn how to make graphics. I had to learn, I had to do EBA. I had to do all these different things. And that's what was important to my business at that time, was learning those skills. And then, it's different things at different times. A lot of times when I'm making courses, right? If I have a new course to make and I feel like, the new course is what's going to help my business the most, I cut back on the written content or on the other content that I make, right? So my content production is always kind of going up or down depending on what I'm doing and what I think my business needs. So this is really different for everyone. I can't tell you spend this much time on blog posts, spend this much time on developing, right? I can't answer that for you because there's so many factors that go into your business, your goals, what you want, what stage your business is in, all these different things. But Laura, if you want to write, write posts. And it's also like how fast do you need this to happen for you also? It's like, if you're trying to quit your job as soon as possible, you need to be learning WordPress and doing all these things. But if you're willing to give yourself more time, write some posts. Who cares? Take a little longer learning WordPress. That's fine. It's just what is best for you and your business and your time and your schedule. It just depends. If you only have 2 hours a week to work on your blog, which some people do, it's a lot different than for those of us like me that have more time. So there's a lot of different factors that go into this. But the way I kind of evaluate this is I'm like, what will move my needle forward? What does my business need? What's the next step for me, right? And if the answer is a course, or I did a big SEO cleanup of my website, right, last quarter, I thought that's what will move my needle forward. And that's where most of my time was going, was that project. So there's times where I'm focusing on content because I think that will move my needle forward. I need a lot of content, right? Or there's times where I'm focusing on building a course or learning a new skill or redoing my website, whatever it is, right? And I divide my time up based on what I think will get me results, right? And you never really know, right? There's no way for me to know I'm going to do this thing and then it's going to bring me this level of success. That's what's hard about this, is it takes a lot of finessing and intuition. And sometimes I get it wrong, right? Sometimes I think, oh, this project is really going to be a huge hit and I'm going to get so much traffic, or I'm going to, have a big launch or whatever. And it doesn't, right? It takes a lot of kind of trial and error and figuring it out. But, just ask yourself, what would move your needle forward? Where do you need to spend your time? What are your goals, right? And those are use those questions to kind of guide yourself. But you're going to have to answer this for yourself as far as how much time you want to invest in learning WordPress. And then the other thing she said, you've said you're not a designer. So what did you do for your logo? I do. I'm not good at design, but I do all my design myself, which might explain a lot, right? So when I say I'm not a designer, that's never going to be my strong point, right? But I still do all my own graphics. Like, I don't know. I just messed with it till I got it. And I don't even have a logo, honestly. I have a banner on the top of radicaltransformationproject.com. You can go look at it. But I don't have like a logo, like a little, I don't even really know what a logo is or what you would use it for, but I don't know. You can hire a graphic designer though. Ask around. Ask in this group if anyone knows a graphic designer. My assistant might be able to help you. She was taking clients and she has a background in graphic design. So ask around if you're looking for a designer. I would also ask yourself, like, do you really need a logo? Like, I don't think you really need a logo personally. Maybe you need a graphic for something else or whatever. And maybe you do need to hire a graphic designer. I don't know. But yeah, I would just ask around and just hire someone. So I do all mine myself. I literally just sit there. I use templates a lot. If you go in Canva, there's a lot of templates for things in there, for social media, for worksheets, for all these different things. And that's really my best friend. And honestly, I use Carafids, blogging templates, Canva templates for bloggers. I can't remember what it's called. It's linked on my website, but it has a lot of just templates for bloggers, right? She has worksheets, she has pins, she has banners, she has, just everything you could need. And honestly, like, I just use her templates and that's how I do my graphics most of the time now. But before I had that, I just went on Canva and used the templates, the free templates that were in there. And I just mess with things till I like how it looks. I don't know. I don't know. I'm not going to say that I have made like beautiful graphics or anything for my website because it's pretty clean, but you can create things that are simple and clean and basic, right? Everything doesn't have to be this big thing. But I also believe, like, if you're making powerful content, it's not that it doesn't matter, but it doesn't matter as much. Does that make sense? Like, someone was asking me the other day, they're like, do I need to, be a counselor or whatever? And I'm like, people don't care if you can help them. Like, can you help them or not? Like, that's what people care about. No one is asking me if I do have a degree and a background in counseling, but I barely talk about that on the internet, and none of my clients or anybody ever asks about that. So, it's kind of like that, right? It's like, if you have good advice, you have information people need, do they really care if you have a great logo or something just simple, right? So that's kind of how I look at it anyway. But, I'm not going to pretend to be an expert at graphic design. So take all of that with a grain of salt. Okay, Kimberly says, I have a blog and a YouTube channel. I'm really beginning to face the reality that with a full-time job, it's hard to be consistent with both my blog and YouTube channel. I'm struggling and putting my YouTube channel on the back burner for now until I can grow my blogging business to where I want it to be. The dilemma is, sorry, I'm getting like messages on my phone. Hold on. Okay, the dilemma is I feel if I stop YouTube for now, I'll regret it in the future and miss out on this time where I could be building my YouTube. I'm an EBA, I want to blog full time. I feel guilty when I don't upload to YouTube once a week, and I'm tired of feeling guilty about it when I'm putting all my time into the blog. Just need advice on what you guys would suggest. Okay, Kimberly, girl, this guilt is like not serving you. So you need to do whatever you need to do to clear that up. Like, where is the guilt coming from? If you're working hard, you have a full-time job and you're doing EBA, you need to cut yourself a break. And I think you know that, right? I think that's what this comment is really coming from, right? You're tired of the guilt. You even said that on here. I'm tired of all this. I'm tired of feeling guilty about it when I'm really putting time into the blog. So this is what I would do. Like, first of all, I'm going to advise you, like, you need to get in your heart and your soul and like ask yourself what the best thing for you to do is, right? Don't take advice from me or like anybody, any stranger. I'm just a stranger on the internet, you guys, at the end of the day. Like, I'm here to help you, but you guys know like your situations and what's best for you in a way that I will never know, right? I don't even know you guys. There's so many factors that go into these questions. So first of all, like, ask yourself, but I'll tell you my opinion of what I think, right? In case it is helpful in any way. If this were me, I would be trying to make income to get out of my job as fast as I can. That's what I would do, right? So now that I am out of my job, I have a podcast. I have a Facebook group. I have 3 podcasts, actually. I have all these different things. But when I was trying to get out of my job, I was only focusing on things that I knew would bring me money, which was traffic, email lists, products, right? I was razor focused on those things. I was not doing social media. I was not doing all these things. I was only doing things I thought would grow my income because I knew I needed to get out of my job. I knew I needed to get out of my job as fast as possible. If you can get out of your job then you frees up your time, right, to do the other things that you want to do, the YouTube channel or whatever it is. So yeah, it would be nice to grow your YouTube channel at the same time. I saw someone on here commenting, maybe cut back to once a month or once every 2 weeks. But is growing your YouTube channel is going to slow down the blog and keep you in your job longer, I'm going to argue with you that is going to slow you down a lot more, right? That you'll actually be able to grow the YouTube channel faster if you can get out of your job and quit your job and be able to work for yourself full time, that it will free up a lot more of your time to grow the YouTube channel. Does that make sense? That's how I would look at it. So I would be doing whatever one, I don't know anything about YouTube, so I would be doing whichever one of these things I think would make me full time the fastest, and I would be doing just that. And my advice for you is just identify how you think you can get out of your job. Like, what is actually going to do it? Is it traffic to the blog? Is it traffic to the YouTube? Is it products? Is it email? Like, I have no idea what stage your business is in, right? But I would identify what you think that is. Is it just doing EBA, right? And just put your head down and do those things, right? I would not advise you to be on Instagram or doing anything else. And I'm not saying that YouTube is a distraction if that's something you want to do in the future, but it's also acknowledging I'll be able to grow my YouTube channel a lot faster if I can get out of my job. So that's what I would be prioritizing. If I were you, I would be prioritizing leaving the job full time. And it's not that you have to be a full-time blogger, but she says in the post that she wants to blog full time, that she wants to work for herself. So that's why I'm advising you this way, right? Does that make sense? So, and then the other thing is, like, you need to look at this guilt, right? Like, guilt and all this negative emotion slows us down, right? And you don't have time for that. If you're trying to get out of your job, if you're trying to change your life, which it sounds like you are, right? You're trying to take big steps and you're trying to do something hard, right? Like, getting a blog off the ground is honestly like pushing a freaking boulder up a hill, right? It's a big push, right? It's hard. You're doing something hard and you don't have time to let guilt slow you down, right? It doesn't serve you in any way, and I think at the core of this, like you're wanting me to tell you to stop feeling guilty, but you've got to be able to do that for yourself, right? You've got to look at the things that you guys are thinking and feeling and asking yourself, is this serving my business? Is this belief that this is just a belief that you have that not posting on YouTube every week makes you a failure, or not posting on YouTube every week means you're not doing the work, or not posting on YouTube every week, whatever that is. What is that belief? What is that story? That's just a story. There's no fact or truth around any of that, right? There's people that post every day on YouTube, and there's people that post once every 6 months on YouTube, right? So look at the story you're telling yourself. You're giving that some kind of meaning that is making you feel guilty, that is slowing you down. So I'll always look at, like, my beliefs. What story am I telling myself around this? And is it slowing me down, or is it helping me grow my business? And if it's slowing me down, tell yourself a different story, right? There's no fact or truth around any of this. The fact that, you're not uploading enough on YouTube says who? Says freaking who, right? That's just a story you're telling yourself. There's no truth in that, and it's slowing you down. So, and I'm so guilty of this. And I think as women, we do this a lot, right? Where we just feel freaking guilty about everything. We feel like we should be doing everything all the time. But if you can free yourself from that guilt, it's going to make everything easier. And I talk about this a lot, right? But if you're already feeling guilty, if you're already feeling some sort of negative emotion around your business and nothing bad is even happening, you're just doing your day-to-day stuff, you will be a lot more likely to quit. You'll be a lot more likely to quit. If you're feeling guilty, it's going to make it harder, right? So you're already bringing your emotional and mental state down by carrying this guilt. So then if something actually happens, something difficult actually happens, your website crashes, your traffic tanks, whatever it is, you won't have the momentum to make it through that obstacle, and you will give up and you will quit and you will help no one, and your life will stay the same. You've got to be able to elevate yourself, elevate your mental and emotional state high, so that way it's easier to overcome, because it's coming, you guys. I can promise you, in business, there's so many obstacles all the time that you never see coming. And it's just the game. It's just the game that we're in, right? You've got to be able to be up here. Does that make sense? If you're feeling guilty, feeling down, beating yourself up, and you're down here already, and then something happens, you're like, well, crap, I'm already trying so hard. Everything's already so difficult. I'm just going to quit, right? So you can't let yourself carry guilt around this stuff day to day, because it will defeat your business. It's the reason people quit all the time, right? People can't make it through this beginning part. You know, the first year, even a couple years, I think for a lot of people are really hard online. And a lot of people don't have the tenacity to make it through. You've got to be exceptional, right? And I always tell myself this. I'm like, if you want an exceptional life, you have to be exceptional. And that's what I always tell myself, right? When I'm like, you know, I don't freaking want to go to the gym every day and like get up and freaking meditate and like do all these things, but I know the kind of life that I want, right? And I know the kind of impact I want to have, and I know the kind of person I want to be, and I can't have an exceptional life if I'm not willing to be exceptional, right? I have to be exceptional. And it's part of that like mindset. You have to have an exceptional mindset to do something exceptional. You guys are trying to do something that most people fail at. And that's just the truth. Most people that launch blogs fail. They don't blog full time. There's like, you look at how many full-time bloggers there are compared to how many people start or how many people say they want to do it. So you're doing something that requires you to be exceptional, because most people fail. And to do something that requires you to be exceptional, your mindset, you cannot be carrying guilt. You cannot be carrying around all this negative emotions and telling yourself negative stories about like, I'm not uploading on YouTube enough and I'm a failure and I should be doing this and I'm not doing enough. You know, those stories will prevent you from being exceptional. Does that make sense? They'll prevent you from having the exceptional mindset you need to be an exceptional person, to build an exceptional life. So I hope that helps. I mean, I feel like a lot of times you guys want me to come on here and give you like actual answers to things. And I mean, a lot of this stuff is stuff I can't answer. Like, I don't know how many hours a week you should spend on your, like, I don't know, like, you know what I mean? I mean, I'm always happy to give you guys my opinion, and I'm here to support you. If you want my opinion, like, I'm happy to get on here on camera. I do it all the time. But, you know, a lot of times this stuff is stuff that you guys have to decide, that you guys have to like look at and like decide what's best for you. Like, at the end of the day, right, I'm just a stranger on the internet. Like, I don't know your guys' life. I don't know what your life is like or what is best for you. Like, everybody's situation is so different. So just keep that in mind when you're listening to my advice. Like, you know, I'm just giving advice based off of these comments that you guys are leaving, which are very limited. And you guys are the expert. You're the expert in your business. You're the expert in your own life. You'll always know what's best for you more than I will, right? If you have a specific question about something or something is tripping you up, I'm happy to answer it for you. I'm happy to give you advice if this is helpful for you. But just know, you know, that it's safe for you to trust yourself. It's safe for you to trust yourself. It's safe for you to make decisions on your own. It's safe for you to be empowered and stand in your truth and move forward. You don't need my permission. You don't need anybody else's permission, right? Just stand up and like do the damn thing, right? And don't, you know, there's very few people I take advice from, you guys. So I'm not telling you guys not to listen to me, but I'm just saying, like, you know what I mean? It's like, you know, no one knows my business, my heart, my truth the way I do. No one knows what I'm here to do, what I want out of my business, what I want out of my life the way I do. And I spent so many years of my life being disempowered, running around, wanting people to give me permission, wanting people to tell me my blog was good, wanting people to tell me, you know, that they thought I should be a blogger, that they thought my business was going to take off, that they thought it was all going to be a good idea. But the truth is, no one ever said that. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, I had to like stand in my truth and decide, I believe in my business and I believe in myself as a businesswoman. I believe that I can build this business. I believe that I can have a big impact. And I just had to decide, right? And sometimes I'll ask people for advice, and I take courses and stuff, but there's very few people that I take advice from. Like, a lot of my decision making is based on my heart and my soul and my intuition, which is weird business advice. But also, I feel as women, like, I do believe women are intuitively guided. I just do. I believe women's intuition is real and it's strong. And I believe it's a big asset to me in my business, at least. Like, that's kind of how I make decisions. And I feel like that's not super helpful, because I feel like people want me to come on here and like tell them what to do. But really, like, what I'm going to tell you guys to do most of the time is the same, right? It's like, what's true for you? What's your truth? What's your heart and your soul telling you to do? What's the next step, right? When I need to make a choice in my business, I'm not asking my family. I'm not asking, you know, my partner or anyone what they think. I'm going outside. I'm walking the dog. I'm looking up the trees. I'm like, thank you, God. Thank you for this life. Everything's so beautiful. Everything's so wonderful. I'm so lucky. I can't believe I get to do this. What's the next step? What is the next step for me? I'm willing to be guided. What's the next step? And that's how I make business decisions. Like, so, you know, there's only like so much advice I feel like I'm qualified to give you guys when that's how I make business decisions, right? I don't go online and ask people to give me advice. That's not how I would make decisions in my business. So I just can't advise you guys that in good conscience. Does that make sense? So anyway, I hope this was like somewhat helpful. I don't know. And I will talk to you guys soon. If you guys need anything from me, you know, leave a comment. I do love coming on here and talking about blogging. So, you know, if you guys want to watch more videos and you want my opinion on something, or you want me to speak on something, or you want whatever, I'm happy to come on here on camera. I want all of you to be massively successful. And I love this little community that we're building so much. You guys are so supportive and helpful to each other. And it just, I love it. It makes me so excited. And I'm so excited for all of you. I'm so excited for all of you because I know the opportunity that you have is incredible. It's so incredible. And I'm so excited for you guys. I'm so excited for you to find success and to be here to support you. So if you need anything, let me know. I'm here to help you. Okay, I'm gonna get off of here. I'll talk to you guys soon.